What's up, mate?
Mick, I'm in a terrible rut with my guitar playing.
I know what you need.
The Rut Busters!
No, more fun, less homework. You need these 10 things that are guaranteed to get you out of that rut.
Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here, hello.
Okay, we're going to look at 10 things, count them 10 things, that are going to help you maybe shift your focus a little bit, shift your mindset a little bit, and maybe urge some creativity.
Get you out of that rut. Get you out of that rut. Some of them are going to be pedal based, some of them are going to be playing based, and at least one of them is going to be about your headspace. So let's get on with it. Daniel, you're into.
Okay, envelope filters. What I love about envelope filters is they completely change the way that everything feels. So here we go, just the guitar straight into the amp. You know, as you would expect, put an envelope filter on and everything changes. You phrase different, you approach it differently. Every time I hear that Edie Brickell song come on, I get so excited for the solo.
What I Am, is it called?
Yeah. Also, when we had Warren Haynes in and he kicked that particular envelope filter on,
that's cool, yeah.
that's awesome. And so many people were like, oh, this is amazing. Warren Haynes, you know, incredible guitar player, plays differently when the envelope filter is on. So I find that anything that drastically changes your attack, it gets you away from what you're used to, and you have to start paying real attention to what's coming out of the amp.
That's what it's about, isn't it? It's called an envelope filter because it changes the envelope of the note, how it opens into its full frequency, and whether you do that with something like a compressor, which is going to change the envelope of the note, whether you do it with something like a Boss slow gear, anything that changes the front end of that note is going to absolutely force you to think about how this or these interact with the strings.
Yes.
Just a quick go. Okay. So it absolutely forces you to think about your pick attack, and that's really what you're working on with an envelope filter.
Yeah.
You can, of course, set them to open and close at different points, and you can set it so that it goes to different frequencies and stuff. You can mess with that with whichever envelope filter you choose, but they all broadly do the same thing.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey
everyone, thanks for watching. Just a quick interjection. Our stats tell us that less than half of the people that watch our videos are actually subscribed. So please take a second and hit that subscribe button. It really does make a difference. Okay, thanks for watching. Back to the show.
First one for me, I started to hint at it there. This is a playing one rather than a pedal one. Learn a TV theme tune. Sometimes when you sit down to play, the first thing I do when I sit down to play is I hit an open G chord. Sorry, I can't live without reverb. Or I might play a blues lick. And when you've been doing that for 35 years, there's your rut right there.
Yeah.
Because you're just drawn to the same things all the time. So something like a TV theme tune will be it might be out of your general day-to-day thinking, but the chances are it's going to be a very strong melody that you can pick out with your ear. So this works for ear training, it works for knowledge of the fretboard, and it also just gets your head into a different sonic space. They are very often based on major scales. I'll give you an example. Which is just
that's really good.
Just the major scale, right? But pick whatever TV theme you want, and then the skill might be, once you've got the basic theme, you might then be able to start harmonizing it. So we know that we're playing in G major now because that's where we started. It might not be in that key, but that's the key I've chosen. So when we play the root now, it goes, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4. So now what we're going to do is we're going to harmonize it, and I can't pretend that I'm going to get all the notes right, but we'll try it anyway, and we'll do it with thirds, with thirds, which is how you would create major and minor chords.
That's great.
Almost.
Yeah.
And that is going to improve all kinds of things. First off, playing things on one string is a really, really great way to figure out melodies because you learn intervals, your whole tones and half tones, whole tones and semitones. Secondly, you can start to put together chord tones. Now, sorry if that got a bit complicated, but it all starts with that top melody line. Pick any TV theme tune that you like. I was used to play this. And you see how that's become a whole piece because then you put chords around it. So yeah, play a TV theme tune from your head.
That's really great. Okay, back to pedals for me. Introducing a pitch shifter, some sort of pitch shifting device. Now, why I really like this, again, it just pushes you out of that thing that you're so comfortable with. So I've got a whammy ricochet here, and I've got it set to jump up to a fifth. Okay, so I'll turn it on. Oh, there's that lovely
digital noise.
Oh, that's because... So, watch what happens. I'm just going to play something in A.
It's changing the note you play, and it's modulating it up a fifth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if I play in A, and if you would do me a kindness at some point and just kick that on, because I can't... Actually, let me have a go. Let me start.
I can do it. You just tell me.
Okay. So it's so interesting because what I'm playing and what I'm hearing are completely disconnected, right? Forces you to listen. And so I didn't go out of the key of A. I was still in A, but I'm going, well, hang on.
You were
that
in A for
interval.
a moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I was all over the shop. But I started in A, and then when that went up, I was like, okay, the notes I wanted to hear weren't where I was playing them. So, yeah, it's the thing with pitch shifting as well. It does change because it's very digital. It's a different thing. It's almost a bit glitchy.
I think what you said about that, everything you expect from the fundamental of the note is not there anymore.
Yes.
And that immediately just takes you and says that everything that you're hearing and feeling now is not familiar.
Yeah.
Therefore, you're forced to do something different.
Yeah, have a go. It's really cool.
Oh, God.
Go on.
Yeah, man.
So
completely out of comfort zone.
And one other thing with this that I really like is that there's a momentary switch on here. So I can, as I'm holding the foot switch down, it jumps up.
Yeah.
Let the foot switch go, it goes back. So, turn me on. Okay. I actually did that on a solo on a Tin Spirits album, and specifically didn't practice what I was going to play beforehand, just wanted to be in the moment and listen, and loads of delay and stuff. But it's a really great way to force yourself to listen to what's going on.
It's changing the notes, you're not changing the notes, and then you are but an evolutionary step away from the solo to Killing in the Name by
there you go. There you go.
by Tom Morello and Rage Against the Machine. Okay, number 4. This one is again not pedal specific, although a couple of pedals might help you. It's really guitar and amp specific, and it can be true on any guitar, but I figure it works really well on a semi-hollow guitar. This is play as few notes as possible and let those notes develop. So if you're in a world of playing at home or wherever in headphones, this is going to be harder. So what I would suggest you do is add on a huge reverb, which we'll try in a minute. But all I'm going to do is turn the guitar up and play very few notes. It might be that I turn the amp up as well, because I want the interaction between the guitar and the amp, okay? Not really much happening. I'm going to turn the amp up.
That was awesome.
What we were doing there, I mean, all right, it's a bit loud, and that's the point of it. You're using the harmonic interaction of the guitar and the amp to put you in a different place. And it takes a minute, right? You've got to have the bravery just to figure it out and to see if it's going to work. Again, you're working with the harmonics of everything that's happening. Therefore, you're forced to mess around with the volume control. You're forced to engage with the sonic situation of what's happening rather than just go, oh, I'm going to play this lick.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll turn the amp back down again. We'll just finish that example off by adding a ton of reverb, because if you can't get to that point of harmonic interaction, it might be that the reverb gives you what you need. So we'll go onto like a large hall and get plenty of it. It might be over the top, right? But that's good. That's what we like. That's a phrase I've been having that's been going around in my head for a few days.
Right.
loads of reverb.
Yeah.
Let the notes develop. All right, I probably played a few too many notes at the end there, but certainly not as many as I would normally play. You know, none of that. So there you go. Play less notes, let the note develop.
Beautiful. Ditch the pick and use your fingers. So this is something that
Your guitar just magically changed, Dan.
Isn't
How
it
did
amazing?
that happen?
Isn't it amazing? So this is something. The reason I picked this guitar up is because one of my favourite guitar players, Derek Trucks, uses an SG. And when I first heard him, what is he doing attack-wise? And obviously he's a slide player, but he uses his fingers. Guys like Chris Buck predominantly, uses his fingers a lot. And there is something very personal about the sound of your fingers on the strings.
Just got to mention Jeff Beck.
Just got to mention Jeff Beck. Very good point. So, all right, I'm going to put on a little bit of overdrive. Get up. So, for me, that's really different, right?
Yeah,
What you're used to.
I mean, I love those sounds that are kind of. I'll just do two. I'll just play a few notes, right? Pick hard and then edge of the finger. It's totally different.
Yeah. It takes that away completely.
Yeah.
So you're forced to really think about what you're doing. And I've been playing around with this recently, and it's been, especially with this guitar, it's just been such a beautiful thing.
I think I think it can be even more pronounced with clean sounds in some respects, because if you hilariously, I've cut my finger and I've got a bit of very stiff skin, which is acting
Sounds harder than a pick.
exactly like a plectrum. Yeah, it's funny when you try and think about it, you can't do it properly.
Yeah.
But without gilding the lily, you already know, right? This sounds very different than this.
Yeah. And it's a great way if I'm ever feeling mechanical about what I'm playing, I'll put that down, or even I'll use these two fingers and do the hybrid thing.
Hybrid is great.
But it's I find the sound of Flesh on Strings to be a lot of character, a lot of personality comes through that way.
And it's yet another one of those things that is made glorious with a bit of volume as well.
Indeed.
Because if you're very, very quiet, actually the tendency can be to just smack the crap out of the strings all the time so you can be heard. A little bit more volume, lay off this a little bit, in a bit more with that. happier days.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, my next one is going to be delay repeats, which is cue for it all going completely wrong. One of the things that you often see with all kinds of guitar players, but specifically kind of maybe people who are not as far along their journey, is the tendency to play too many notes out of time. And because you're rushing to finish the phrase, you know, we all do it, you lose your time, and actually what you're playing is nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. It's just noodling, which we do enough of on this show. What a delay pedal can help you do is it's like the metronome that you don't hate using. So using a metronome is really good for your discipline, and it's excellent, and we would recommend that you do it, but not exactly the kind of thing you want to be doing to get out of a rut. It's homework, right? Not fun. Delay pedal, more fun, less homework, but it is metronomic in that you have a set repeats. I'm going to choose my favourite delay time, which is, of course, okay.
Touche, good sir. Touche. That's brilliant.
You can choose any delay time you want, but what we're going to do now is listen. We're going to set up a repeat, and we're going to have quite a lot of repeats. So let's see what we've got. Okay, you can hear that very clearly. I'll just give you the note again so you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can treat that as fours.
And that's your tempo.
Yeah, well, four, I guess if I want to be treating this as fours, let's say that is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can just put together licks and phrases that are in time with that delay. It's holding you to account.
It is. You know what I love about that? As soon as you start talking about anything, specific delay, repeat times, large amounts of delay, everyone thinks the Edge.
Yeah.
That couldn't sound less like the Edge.
Yeah.
But it's really cool.
As a side note, if you're playing in your band and you can never quite set your delay time right, just tap it 4, right, in time with the music. Now, here's where I'm going to make a massive mistake. Instead of seeing 4, why don't we see 3? Let's see a triplet or kind of a 6/8 feel. So we've got... Three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which would be a 6/8 feel, yeah? Duh, duh. I'm just playing complete nonsense, right? But the other thing you could do if you're in that 6/8, practice your chord changes, right? ideally you'd have a sheet of chords out in front of you that you're trying to learn the changes to, but doing it in time like that is much more fun than using a metronome, and it's forcing you to stay in time. And if you can be encouraged, remember we're using the same delay time, right? 345 milliseconds. When I began, we were counting them as 8s or 4s, and then we were counting them as 3s and 6s. So all you've got to do is listen to it and do the count.
Mick Brubeck.
Yeah, so I'm not, again, what I'm playing isn't particularly musical or whatever. That comes later once you get the feel of the delay repeat. And then you might start finding ideas popping out because it's stopping you from doing what you would normally do. So dial up a delay repeat, go from there.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, mine, vibrato. Again, it's a really, really personal thing, but when I hear players who have worked on their vibrato, I hear good guitar players. Now, there's a number of different ways you can approach this because we also have a vibrato pedal on board, which we're going to have a play with.
Okay.
Right? So, a vibrato pedal...
Hang on, when you started, you're talking about string vibrato.
When I talk about, I was talking about string vibrato, but anything that modulates the pitch. One way is to do it with a pedal, another way is to do it with your fingers. So we'll start with the fingers thing, right? Because this is where I think the most bang for your buck from your guitar playing, as far as vibrato is concerned, is learning how to shake that note if that's something that you want to do. Okay, let me explain. I think when I hear a guitar player that is perhaps not as far down his journey, I hear a lot of they get to the end of a phrase and just grab it and it's like, okay, let's slow things down and really think about, again, it's back to listening. So, nice slow vibrato. A little bit faster. But I'm really listening to what's going on. I'm not jumping in there straight away. I'm letting it breathe a little bit. A really cool thing as well as pitching is bending up to a note so that you can, normally when we have string vibrato, if we just hit a note and shake it up, we are only pitching up. If we bend up to a note, we have the opportunity to pitch down and up, right? So here's the note I'm going to bend up to. If I bend up to it, as opposed to...
You've got a lot more latitude in
lot more latitude
when you bent up to it in the first place.
Then there's a classical vibrato, which is more like, instead of here, I'm actually going to be bending the note
sideways.
So you get this. And that gives you your up and down vibrato.
If you're confused about how to bend a note sideways, it's because you're increasing the tension on the string relative to the distance from the fret, right? So if you play in the middle of the fret and you push down hard and you move towards the fret, very low frets. There is the tiniest increase in tension, but I guess is there a bit of up and down movement in that as well?
I'm trying not to. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to, like, it's easier if I get all my fingers behind the note.
Yeah.
Because then I've got grip on the string. It's really hard to do it with one finger.
Yeah.
Some people manage to do it.
Especially with really low frets.
But if I grab all the string, all the fingers behind that note,
Yeah.
you can get...
I know what you're doing. You're doing this. Moving the neck.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah,
That's one way to do it.
Well, it's another kind of vibrato, to be fair. And as a slight tangent, sorry, we said we wouldn't do any tangents today. All those people that moan and say, why the hell are you shaking the neck? Here's why the hell I'm shaking the neck.
Neck vibrato.
It's a wonderful noise.
It really is.
Sorry, I completely
No,
tripped you up there.
no, lovely. So, working on your vibrato, and it might be, listen to Frank Zappa, no vibrato, just plays a note and lets it ring out. Having a listen to vocalists and the way they use their vibrato and trying to copy that is a great thing. Another thing is pedal vibrato. So I got diamond vibrato on board, and it's really wonderful.
Quick, get me back in the rut.
That's now that's pretty extreme, right?
Yeah.
But if I turn that depth down, so it's just a little bit of movement.
Sounds killer.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just enough to a tiny little bit of movement, and it changes the way that you approach. Love it.
If you're a bit OCD about tuning and having things womble about all over the place, maybe not such a good idea, because you're constantly hitting a chord and it's going, you're like, oh God. Yeah. Vibrato. I will just reiterate the one point on the vibrato there, which Dan said at the beginning, but I think it bears worth repeating. If you want something to practice moving into a note and letting the vibrato come, not at the minute you finish the note, but kind of on the end of it.
Beautiful.
That's the example of how singers do it usually. Yeah. Unless you get one of those singers who's got that all the time, and that's a different thing.
Yeah.
No thanks.
There we go.
Okay, my thing number 8. This is going to be very simple. Learn a blimmin' song. Right? We spend all our time as guitar players noodling about playing this awful stuff that nobody except guitar players likes. Nobody wants to hear that.
I want to hear that. Nobody except me wants to hear that.
Nobody except guitar players wants to hear that. What they want to hear is songs, but less facetiously. Learn a song that's not in your kind of normal wheelhouse. So, if you're into heavy rock, learn a country song. If you're into country, I wouldn't suggest going straight for a jazz song. Maybe learn a blues song. Maybe learn a pop song, because all the good melodies exist in pop, and they're usually fairly what would we say, in key.
Yeah.
So there's nothing there to really trip you up. What's the word for in key? Diatonic.
Diatonic.
They're normally diatonic. So pick any song. Could be a strummer. Strummers are great fun to learn because, well, I was explaining to Catherine the other day, if you take Shake It Off by Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep moving, can't stop, won't stop moving, like I got this music. It's literally A minor, C and G.
Right.
So even though you think that commercial pap on the radio is a really complex, overproduced whatever, actually there's going to be some good chords in it.
Yeah.
And to sit there and work it out into a different version or even the same version, what you're concentrating on is the chord progression of the song, you're working out the melody of the song, and your head is taken away from going, can I play?
Yeah.
All that stuff we all love to play all the time. So yeah, learn a song.
Learn a song, and I'm going to put a little caveat in with that. Try and work it out before you go to YouTube and start Googling the chords. Listen to it and try and work it out. And I promise you, do enough of that and it will make you a better guitar player.
Yeah, do that. At the minute you go, I can't work this out, then call up YouTube and get the chords.
Absolutely.
Yeah. At the minute you feel like you want to stop, then call up YouTube and get the chords. And then same as before with the theme tune, work out the melody, work out the vocal melody on the guitar.
Yeah. YouTube has this wonderful feature in the little settings wheel. If you click on that, you can change the playback speed. So if you found a song on YouTube, you want to work it out, you can slow it right down without changing the pitch and have listened. I've worked out loads of solos like that. But that's part of ear training. It's so, so good for you. But then you get to a point, you're stuck. Have a listen.
Yeah, do have a listen. Similarly, there might be classic riffs or stuff you've never bothered to learn, like, I don't know, the opening theme from Ticket to Ride by the Beatles, or it might be Summit by the Killers, or it might be whatever it is. You've heard it a million times, but you've never worked it out. Learn a song. Learn a song.
Beautiful. Okay, guitar change for me.
A lot of people are going to be very disappointed about what happens next. The people who love this guitar.
I love this guitar. It's great. It's why I've chosen it, because it's such a stable instrument. Right. This leads on from the pitch shifting thing. You could do this with a capo, whatever. What I've done here is I've changed the strings. It's still standard guitar tuning, but every second string I've changed the octave.
Okay, so
Right.
it's not Nashville tuning.
No, it's not.
No.
It's straight EA. It's straight. So you just play normal chords, right? You play normal chords, but what you get out of it
you've just written a song, is what's happened there.
With just chords I use
Yeah.
every day.
It's like if Blake Mills had done an 80s movie soundtrack.
Right.
You're just right there.
Yeah. What I've had to do, as far as what I've had to learn, nothing. Not a single thing.
That's killer.
It's great fun.
That's really, really, really killer.
Yeah.
And we could tell that it was still Dan playing the guitar, but so far away from the stuff you'd normally play.
Yeah.
Kind of proving the point, really.
Absolutely.
Great.
Really fun. So you can, again, you know, capo and all that sort of stuff is a really great way to get a, you know, that sort of thing going. But what this does is you end up with a sound you haven't heard.
Yeah.
You know.
I think that it's all great. The genius is the low G.
Yeah.
If that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
What's low? Yeah, the low E.
Is that one low as well? Yeah.
Yeah, that one there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the chord tone you just don't expect.
That's right.
Yeah. Very cool, man. Very
There you
cool. Okay, final thing. We're going to finish off. We hope the things 1 to 9 have given you at least some things to try. You know, some of them have been pedals, some of them have been about playing. The last one is about headspace. So this is not about playing and it's not about tone, but it might be everything about everything. The phrase, I need to get out of this rut, or I want to get out of this rut, is deeply problematic, right? What you've done is, number one, you've defined it as something negative. You've called it a rut. You've decided in your mind that it's a rut. And the way we all work is you don't want to deal with negative things, right? So the likelihood of you dealing with it is going to be much lower. So don't couch it in negativity, number one. Number two, you've committed the sin, which is the root of all suffering, which is you've exchanged being here for wanting to be there. And instead of just focusing on what you can do in this moment, what you've done is you've packed up your problem in a little suitcase and you've shoved it in your head alongside all the other little suitcases that need unpacking and sorting out. And it's just mind weight. You don't need it. Further, you're probably thinking about this stuff when you should be doing something else, right? And that might be something not very important like work, or it might be something really important like reading your kids a bedtime story or having dinner with your wife, you know, something that is really, really important. If you find yourself doing that, if you find yourself thinking, I'm in a rut with my guitar playing, in a moment when you should be doing something else, stop it. Number one, stop it and give your attention back to the thing that you should be doing at that time. If you do that in the rest of your life, life will improve for you and everyone around you. Appreciate this is a bit serious. Number two, find an appropriate moment and excuse yourself from that situation. Go somewhere, open up whatever app it is you use to organise your life. Find your next available time slot, and in that time slot, write this. I am moving forwards with my guitar playing, or my guitar playing is moving forwards. The alarm will go off at the time, and then you can set about making a plan. But what you've done there is you've replaced, there's this problem that I need to solve, with I am actually doing something about it. Stop seeing it as a problem, put it into this moment and just move forwards. And you've changed, I've got a problem I need to get out of, to I am moving forward from this point. I appreciate that's a bit heady, but none of us need any more problems. You're not in a rut and you don't need to get out of it. You are here and you just need to move forwards.
Beautiful. There's the next t-shirt.
Yep. I'm all for it. You know, just change your headspace. Don't see it as a problem. See it as a point from which to move forwards.
I really like that, mate. That's brilliant.
Good.
Yeah. Excellent.
You'll always get a telling off from me.
Here we go. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Again, don't forget to subscribe, all that fun stuff. Massive thank you to our patrons on Patreon. Massive thank you to anyone that's gone to thatpedalshowstore.com and grabbed some merch. We have some lovely new merch in store. I enjoy telling offs as well. Fantastic. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.